Hi everyone, this is Kent Shornack from Leadership EDU, and this module is on transformative conflict. You know, we all have different stories and experiences that shape how we think about conflict and how we deal with it. And for me, my story is I grew up in a no conflict home. It's not that we didn't have conflict, it's just that we didn't talk about it. We wouldn't fight or yell or engage in whatever the tension was that was going on. We just would push it under the surface and avoid it. In fact, my biggest clue that there was a conflict that was occurring in my home when I was growing up was when my mom would announce just out of the blue that she needed to take a drive. In other words, there was a tension going on that she just needed some space from or needed to avoid or just get a break from. And that was our biggest tell, our biggest clue. And even though we knew that, the interesting thing was, you know, when my mom would come home, we still wouldn't talk about it. We still wouldn't engage in whatever the issue was going on. We would just go on business as usual and pretend as if everything was okay. On the one hand, I grew up in a home where I was protected from conflict a lot because we just didn't have a lot of yelling or screaming or fighting. But on the other hand, I didn't really know how to engage in conflict at all. Let alone, I didn't view conflict as something positive or something productive could come out of. And so I adopted a style to avoid it and protect myself from it as well, but my style was just to be a nice guy in the midst of conflict, because you know, who argues with a nice guy or who can get upset with a nice guy? The point is, we all have different styles when it comes to engaging with conflict. You know, some people are avoiders and they take whatever their version is of taking a drive or being a nice guy or a nice woman. Some people avoid conflict by owning all the responsibility or assuming all the blame of a conflict just to kind of settle it down quickly or to be a peacemaker. And then you have others who are attackers, and they like to mix it up and maybe scream or fight a little bit about things, blame, or sometimes they are passive aggressive. And they may not talk directly about the conflict, but they may talk about it behind someone's back. And that's always destructive to teams and difficult for organizations. You know, even though we all have different styles with dealing with conflict, almost all of us can view conflict though from a negative lens, and most all of us feel uncomfortable when trying to address it. That's why Alex and I love the idea of transformative conflict. It was coined by Michelle Buck. She's a professor of leadership at Northwestern University in Chicago. And different than just resolution, transformative conflict implies that something good, something transformative or productive can come out of conflict when we learn to engage it well. And that's our hope for you and your team. So in this module, Alex and I will give you stories to help illustrate transformative conflict further, an assessment to help you understand the different conflict styles and impact they can have on your team, activities that enhance your discussion and help you learn how to communicate through conflict productively, and next steps if you'd like to further your learning about transformative conflict. We also provide you a facilitator's guide and handouts to assist your facilitator in leading you through this module well. Productive conflict is essential and should even be an expectation for high-performing teams. So Alex and I really hope that you engage this module well and that it helps transform how you and your team approach conflict.